Okay. Well, now that Ken's back, we will call this meeting to order. Regular council meeting for July the 25th. It's 3 p.m. And we'll begin with the land acknowledgement. So the town of Innisfail acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Kainai, Piikani, Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on. We also acknowledge that today and tomorrow are pretty special days in Alberta for the Indigenous community, and hopefully it will be one step forward in truth and reconciliation. So we will move on to 2.1. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yeah, I guess, Mayor Barclay, just for clarification, the agenda on your screen, 4.2, should not be there. The one published to public does not have 4.2 noxious weeds on there. It can be asked or referenced during operational conversation, but it wasn't intended to be there.
Yeah.
And the other addition, Mayor Barclay and Council, would be under in camera, which would be 12.3, electrical franchise agreements, according to the Municipal Government Act, Section 197.2, and Freedom of Information Privacy Act 25.1b.
Okay, thank you. Could I please have someone make a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
Mayor Barclay, I would make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Wing. All in favor? Okay, and then we'll just review the minutes of the regular council meeting from July the 11th. And when you're ready, I'll have someone make a motion, please, to adopt those minutes.
Mayor Barclay, I'll move those minutes.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bates. All in favor? Okay, and 4.1, we will have the CAO verbal report.
Okay, thank you. Just briefly, I did take vacation last week, July 18th through 22nd. So I was away from the office. Thanks to Director Kennedy for support of the acting CAO. Just a couple things, Council, for your consideration. That being, following Council's approval of the strategic plan, administration has been working on more detail on the tactical plans. Administration is recommending that we have a little bit more time with you, specifically to the strategic plan, in advance of moving into the 2023 budget process. A suggestion is Monday, the 5th Monday of August, being August 29th, at a time best fitting for council to come together for 3 hours roughly, just to go a little bit deeper in your plan, making sure we're achieving your expectations on the strategy moving forward, and as we start to move into our budgetary process. Just again, a date thrown out is August 29th. Again, anytime fits you. Starting off with a time, maybe 5 till 8, 4 to 7, somewhere in there, 1 to 4, really dependent on your availability and desire to meet at that time. Yeah, and again, we're right in the middle of project season 2. If you have any questions regarding administration, operations, and projects, staff would be happy to answer those questions.
I wouldn't mind an update on projects. I think for all of council would be great to hear.
More specifically, Mayor Barclay, if you had...
Well, I was snooping around myself, like around the heliport and ball diamonds and stuff, skate park or skating rink, and
sure, putting me right on the spot there. Okay, yeah, the heliport, I guess, to start. So coming along very well. Really, all that's left is the electrical, landscaping, and fencing, all commencing within the next 2 weeks here, with anticipation that construction will be done by the end of the month, and then we're working on the O&M manual as well as approvals with Transport Canada. So that's a longer process, but all in the works as we speak. in regards to our capital, our surface improvements, as you can see through town, we're ripping curb up everywhere, doing some catch basin leads, so various projects going on. Paving just to take place just after August, or August long weekend. So hopefully by mid-August, all of that project will be complete. The other project that's just commencing that, is the sound wall. So we have that contractor starting end of this week with some more removals, with panels to start coming to site here as well shortly. In regards to the outdoor rink and playground, the town has just completed our portion of those projects in regards to the gravel bases. We're currently working on extending the parking lot for Diamond 7 to accommodate the additional amenities. Going a little slow on those ones just because of the water table out there and all the rain that we've had, so, but as of this week, we'll be progressing quite well. With the playground to be installed the second week of August is when the Kinsman will be in to do that install. That's probably a majority of the things we have going on, I guess.
Well, that's a lot. And CEO Becker, with respect to the strat planning day, will Kara just send out like a doodle poll for times, or do you want to talk about that now, or?
If there's some idea, council give some like range and then we can do some
Yeah.
final adjustment, but just kind of, you know, are we okay during the day or more at evening based on availability? Of course, we have two councilors not here,
Yeah.
but is the 29th even appropriate day for council?
Does that work for everybody?
Works for me.
29th?
I'm an afternoon guy. I've just checked my schedule.
Afternoon as in,
Like afternoon into the evening, however it works.
like 1 to 4 maybe? or-
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I'm okay with it, absolutely. But I'd sure like to, going forward, try to avoid those days because I think that is the opportunity for a lot of people to plan their vacations and that sort of thing, and particularly staff who seem to have trouble getting all their vacations. So I'm absolutely good with it, but I think we shouldn't get into that habit. That's just my point of view.
Okay, and I guess we don't know from Councillor Maceras and Dunham
Yep.
as far as afternoons, early afternoon may be an issue, but maybe Kara could send an
Sure.
email out and get some feedback from them.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect, thank you. So could I please have a motion to accept the CAO report?
I'd so move, Mayor Barkley.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Great. We'll move on to Napoleon Lots and Centennial Park with Councillor Hystad.
Yeah, it's kind of, both the next couple items kind of go hand in hand. I thought, it's not major. I talked to CEO Becker about the lots. There's some noxious weeds there, and he informed me that the town staff is behind because of just the weather itself. So, no, I appreciate that, and you corresponding with me. I think it was late Friday. So that's it. I don't want to take. I don't want to go on with the noxious weeds. Okay.
I think noxious weeds came off the
Okay, came
agenda,
off.
so
No,
we're
okay,
just talking
sorry.
about Napoleon.
Napoleon Lots, Centennial Park policing. Okay, yeah, I did get a call. I think it was Thursday, Friday of last week, in regards to Centennial Park continually being an issue in the community. And some of the questions that I was being asked were more administrative in manner, where a citizen was questioning some of our bylaw stuff, hours of policing, as well as some of the bylaw itself. One comment was made that our bylaw was working with the RCMP. I could not comment on, like, in the same vehicle as the RCMP, and I said, this is an administrative function. I don't have anything to do with that. I know that we're reviewing Centennial Park, and we'll be coming back to our citizens, I think it's late August, to deal with it. But I just wanted to bring it forward. The citizen was very concerned as ongoing issues within that area. And I was curious as to how well it was going at the park during the summertime. That's all I'll comment on right now.
Okay, well, I also had a phone call from the same person, and things are not going well. I reached out to another resident down there to get their feedback, and same thing, noise is jacked up again. So the last week or the week before, there was 50 people in the parking lot making a lot of noise, and I would say either party doesn't mind people being in the parking lot. It's the disrespect that is going on for the area residents. And I understand that there was a ticket given through camera, somebody burning donuts, and then 2 nights later, the same individual comes back and is doing the same type of activity. And very, very frustrated residents. And I know this is supposed to come back in mid-August, but I would say right now that we need to start deciding what we're going to do. People in the parking lot are not using the park, they're using the parking lot. And do we have an expectation that our residents should have to call in at 2 o'clock in the morning because of ongoing noise issues that are disrupting their lives several times a week? Or do we have an expectation that they should be able to live in their houses in peace and quiet? And I know that there's only so many resources that we can deploy to look after this, and I don't think we should expect our peace officers and RCMP to have to be down there every night looking after things. So I'm just going to put it out there to council. What solutions do we have in front of us? And we're either okay with the way things are going, and I will say, in my opinion, I am not, because I think if you spoke to these 2 residents, you can hear their frustration. I think it's impacting our lot sales down there, because it's out in the community that there's a lot of issues taking place in the parking lot overnight. And we need to find a solution somehow to this. So I don't know what that is. We've talked about a gate across the parking lot in the evening, 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock or whatever it might be. We kind of have a rough idea of the cost of that. And I also think about how much are we deploying in resources to keep looking after this. That the resident told me that, people are now driving out of the parking lot backwards because then the camera can't pick up their plate. So, Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I would like to return to the conversation that we had a few weeks back. And I agree with you as far as what it's costing us right now relative to the cost of installing a gate. I think for the safety and the peace of mind for the people that live down there, closing the parking lot for a period of time at night is something that we have to very seriously look at from my perspective.
Councillor Bates.
Yeah, so if we go back to the previous discussions, I think we ended it up by saying we were going to review it at the end of, or middle of August, I think. And if this is, I don't see any reason to wait. And I mean, I think I actually suggested that we wait, but we've got this other solution on the table. It's just another $30,000, and it's sad that people can't be, but we at least said we'd wait, and now I really personally don't see the reason to wait any longer.
Yeah, I guess I keep wondering if there's some kind of an educational piece, but there doesn't seem to be, because we keep getting the behavior. So, Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Yeah, I don't think we should wait. It seems like the gate is probably the only solution that we've got right now. I can't think of anything else other than closing the park totally, and we don't want to do that. Those residents don't have to live with that noise, that's for sure. So I think we move on the gate. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and as far as education, I don't know how you educate something or somebody that doesn't want to be educated. They'll just find a way around it, so let's not prolong the agony, let's move on it fairly quickly. Thank you.
Councillor Hystad?
Yeah, actually, I was, and I guess I'd have to refer to CEO Becker and Manager Leith as well as how, if we're triggering this sooner than later, then we need some, data as to what they've been doing. Community policing side, those are the things that when I was talking to the citizen is that, these things do take time to manage or try to manage as well as you can. And that's where, we do have to rely on that conversation with our manager, Gary Leith, and bylaw as to how successful they are or if there's success. Because, do I think it's perfect? No, not at all. Living there, I would be probably just as ticked off as they are. But there's other residents as well that utilize that park. And I think if there's anything that I would say is the park's for everybody, not just to shut her down. And so, timing wise, we don't have, and that's where I think it'd be good to have that conversation with our manager of bylaw as well.
So I'm going to ask a question. Let's say we have that conversation. We've had data before. We've got feedback from citizens. What else do you think we could do that's going to make this go away?
I think it's good to hear what our manager of bylaw is going to say, how well things are going. As to the citizens itself, they're going to be pissed off in many ways. And sometimes, there's, and I know the park well enough. You get people going there early in the morning to utilize the park, and they're law-abiding citizens. It's, unfortunately, it's the few shitheads that we have that are causing the issues. And, I know that a gate may cost like $22,000. Are we better off having, bylaw that is not only from, during the day, but in the afternoon as well? Those are the conversations that I think that would help finalizing the conversation itself before us.
Well, my understanding is that we do have people down working later into the evening to look after this, but we're not going to have anybody there 24/7. We can't expect our peace officers to be working at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I'm not saying that.
And the park is not closed. You can still access the park. It's the parking lot that we're dealing with. And I don't know that there's a lot of people accessing the park itself at midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning. There's certainly groups of people that access it early in the morning and the gate can be open. But CEO Becker, do you have any thoughts around this? And shall we have Manager Leith and come with a report over the last, whatever it's been, a month since we last had him before us and report back? But I just don't know what it's going to change. The bottom line is we have very, very frustrated citizens living down there. And how are we going to fix this for them so they can enjoy their houses?
Thanks for the opportunity to speak, Mayor Barkley. I believe through Manager Leith, the administration has concluded and provided council with adequate, I guess it's up to you to judge, with significant amount of information over the last couple of years, more so over the last year, I'd say, just regarding Centennial Park parking lot. We do have complaints on Centennial Park. We do have activity in there that is undesirable, and specifics have been shared by Manager Leith. So it's really in the realm of council how you wish to proceed. It's, do you want to secure the property? Will the bylaw be sufficient? That's in draft, likely to come in early part of fall. It really up to you. If you want to do enhanced enforcement, I'll just share with you with conversation with Manager Leith is making sure our operations is as sound as possible. Yes, And if so, if there's a desire to minimize activity in that park, if we need additional resources, do you want us to come back to you with that request, understanding what resources are required to have more rotation in that area? Because we cannot just serve Centennial Park, I'll be honest with you. So it's really in the realm of council how you wish to proceed, but we are geared on coming back to you mid-August as per your previous direction. If you'd like to advance it, where my head went, and Gary's allowed to speak to this as well, is to direct us to come back, or to direct, if you want to do a gate, that we finalize a scope of what that gate will look like. We give you a budget. This is roughly what a budget would be for a gate. We have not finalized what that scope would look like. So even if you advance it today, we'd like to come back to you to making sure we're meeting your expectation on some sort of scope design of a gate, if that's what you wish to do. But question back to you, council, what else do you need from administration with help of your decision? We do have stats. We do know we have activity there. I guess what else do you need to help you with your decision?
Yeah, I think that's the difficult part, is what else can we do? I guess that's what I look at. What can we do other than a gate? And I don't know what that answer is. You know, I think we've tried the last couple of years, right, with education, with signs, with cameras, but it continues on. And you know, the only thing that will continue to happen is our residents are going to have to be calling in the middle of the night when there's issues. We can't expect our bylaw people or our RCMP officers to be sitting there overnight and looking after one area. Councillor Wing?
I agree with you, Mayor Barclay. The other piece of it, though, from that educational perspective and from a planning perspective, is a gate is not going to change the behavior. It will just move the behavior. So what happens after we put the gate up, where, you know, so again, having some thoughts around how we continue to enforce our bylaws, how we continue to engage our bylaws and our RCMP. People, as we've heard from the RCMP, people need to continue to call when there's a problem, but I think we need to start being proactive too and helping them out with that. So.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that the RCMP town hall, that there was a resident there and they were mentioned the activity at the school in the nighttime. And the school was, I think, they mentioned that Chinook's Edge was going to put a gate on the school as well, right, to keep people out of the parking lot. So does somebody want to make a motion then that we will move forward with the directing administration to bring back to us the actual cost and scope of the infrastructure for a gate?
I would make that motion, Mayor Barclay.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Wing. Any more discussion? All in favor? Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right, we will move into the council action control, item 4.3. So I'll just have somebody make a motion, please, so that we accept this as information, if you're okay with all of it.
I'll move that we accept the council action control for information.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. Thanks. Now we'll move into 5.1 with the South Red Deer Wastewater Commission lease with Director Kennedy.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. So, yeah, so in front of you is the draft lease agreement with the South Red Deer Regional Wastewater Commission. So we've been working with them over the last probably year now to finalize this agreement and finalize the size and location. The pond location is just south of the existing lift station, and as identified in the lease, is only to be used for storage during high-intensity rainfall events, major line breakages or repairs, or issues at the City of Red Deer facility. Within 3 days after the event, the surge pond facility is to be emptied and cleaned as part of the lease agreement. Approximate size of the lot is 5.04 acres. The SRD has agreed to reimburse the town for some land reclamation costs incurred during the reclamation of the facility. The reimbursement amount agreed to by both parties is $18,750 per acre, which shall be paid by the commission to the town upon the execution of the lease, to a total compensation not to exceed $94,500. The pond details, the pond design details still are to be provided by the SRD with construction planned for the fall of 2022 this year. So, and we are looking for council to approve the emergency surge pond lease agreement with the South Red Deer Regional Wastewater Commission effective July 1st, 2022.
Okay, thank you. Could I please have someone make the recommended motion?
I'd so move, Mayor Barclay, that council approves the emergency surge pond lease agreement with the South Red Deer Regional Wastewater Commission effective July 1st, 2022.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion, questions? Okay, all in favor? Okay. Okay, we will move into corporate services, 6.1 with Director Vickers on policy repeals.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I know it's not as big as the last rates and fees, but, you know. So as we continue to go through all our policies and bylaws, we have found some more that are outdated and do need to be repealed. So the first one is the Transportation Committee policy. So this policy is now included in the Council Procedure Bylaw. Thank you, Megan. And it has its own terms of reference and an operating agreement with the Legion for managing the program. So this policy we no longer need at this time. We do have policy 2001-004, Home Support Services, Working Alone Safety Policy. We actually don't offer this program anymore, so we no longer need the policy. And the following health and safety policies have been replaced with new administrative policies and just need to be repealed. So that's all I have for that. Do you have any questions about any of the policies, or would you like to just get into the motions?
No, does anyone have any questions about any of this? No, I think we'll just get into the motion. So we'll just start at number 1 and,
You betcha.
okay,
Thank you, Mayor Barclay.
okay. Here we go. All right, could I please have someone make the first motion?
I'll move that council repeals the 2015-004 Transportation Committee policy.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion, questions? No, all in favor? Okay, number 2.
That council repeals 2001-004 Home Support Services Working Alone policy.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? And the next one?
Mayor Barclay, I would move that council repeal 2017-003 municipal vehicle policy.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? And the next one?
I move that council repeals HS 2016-010 modified work policy.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Since we're missing 2 councillors, I'll do one. I'll make a motion that we repeal, I better put my glasses on first, sorry. HS 2010-001 Health and Safety Policy amended 2016. All in favor? Okay, and next one.
I'll move that council repeals HS 2010-002 Workplace Incidents Policy.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Councillor Hystad.
The council repeals HS 2010-003 Worksite Health and Safety Inspections Policy.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, and next.
Mayor Barclay, I would move that council repeal HS 2011-006 personal protective equipment policy.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? And the next one?
I move the council repeals HS-011-007 hearing protection program policy.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? And the last one, I will move that council repeals HA 2012-009 working alone policy. All in favor? Okay. We will move on to 6.2 on post-secondary scholarship policy with
Okay.
Director Vickers.
Perfect, thank you, Mayor Barclay. So this is the second time that this has come back. We did make some amendments to the policy and am bringing back for your review. So just a bit of the background. The town of Innisfil recognizes the importance and value of education and continued learning. In this spirit, the town's post-secondary scholarship program is awarded annually, or will be awarded annually, to encourage and support our local students to pursue further educational opportunities. So during this past year's budget deliberations held November 24th to 26th, council requested the implementation of a post-secondary scholarship awarded by the town into the operating budget. So on December 13th, council did pass the 2022 operating budget that did include $2,500 for post-secondary scholarships. So again, we did provide this policy back on January 24th at the regular council meeting, and council did direct administration to incorporate feedback that was provided. So we did go through the policy and make some changes. So we did change it to 4 different policies in the amount of $625 per scholarship. So that will be awarded each year. Funding will not be carried over, so if it's not given out, it will go away. So again, the eligibility is they must be a resident of Innisfil with a parent or guardian. One of their parents must be a taxpayer of Innisfil. Students must have completed their high school education in a Chinooks Edge Division number 73 school or a Red Deer Catholic School Board school. They must provide proof of being registered in their first year of study at a recognized post-secondary institution. And again, this can be from a trade program all the way up into a bachelor's degree or more. Preference will be given to candidates attending a recognized post-secondary institution in Alberta, except in instances where their chosen program is not available in Alberta. There is no restrictions on the program of study or discipline, and the program must be a minimum of 2 years in duration. And for example, a trade program, we would consider that like a 3-year or a 4-year, depending on what type of trade they went into. So for the application process, so the first item, they must complete an application form. And I will admit that I have not done that yet, but it will be done within the next, probably this week. They will need a letter that outlines their goals and objectives in pursuing their further education. And also they have to detail their contribution to the community, which must include or may include areas such as education, health, fundraising, charitable and volunteer services, businesses, sports, arts, leadership, the environment, or any other area that contributes to the advancement and well-being of the community. So their brief resume outlining their employment experience, if any, their community involvement, volunteer activities, recreational activities, 2 letters of reference that must be a non-relative, so either a boss or a teacher or things like that from the school. Their official transcript showing their grade 12 marks must be provided as well. A graduation photo to be used for the Town of Innisfil promotions. Now applications must be completed in full and submitted no later than July 31st of each calendar year. I would ask that we extend that for this year just because we're too close to the deadline. I would anticipate either August 31st or September or some date in September just for this year, and then next year we'd go back to the July 31st date. So all the applications will be evaluated by town council, and they will be evaluated based on the following criteria. So 50% will be their written letter or essay, 30% will be on their letters of reference, and 20% will be on their academic achievement.
Okay. Thank you. I please have somebody make the recommended motion?
I'll make the motion. I just need it on there.
The motion is that council approves
Yeah.
post-secondary scholarship award policy 2022-002.
Yeah. That council approves post-secondary scholarships award policy 2022-002. How's that?
Thank
Thanks.
you, Councillor Hysad. Okay, so we'll open it up for discussion. Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. And just a question through to Director Vickers. These scholarships, are they classified as a taxable benefit, or do these students have to pay tax on that
I
income?
believe they do, but I'm not sure, so I will research that and get back to you
Could
on
you?
that.
Okay, thank you.
And just one quick question about the evaluation process. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I'm wondering if it should be council or community and maybe representative from council, but don't know. Or do we have any kind of a committee, one of the other committees in place right now that could take a look at that? Or,
Yeah, I'm not sure if
I don't
there's
know.
another committee that could do that. Would you prefer it that way rather than,
I don't mind council representation, but I'm not sure we shouldn't have community members on it potentially. I mean, we have some, former teachers and stuff in this community that might be very valuable to that. And not sure what everybody else thinks about that, but Councillor Wing?
I agree with you. I'm concerned about the timeline. I'm concerned about the timeline because, of course, students at this time of the year are busy trying to get student loans put together and need to have good financial picture. So July the 31st might be a difficult time just because it's summer. I don't have a solution to that problem, but I love that idea. But I would like this to somewhere in the process have it written that the deadline is the 31st and the decision will be made within 2 weeks or whatever it is, so that students have the opportunity to reflect that in their student loan applications.
okay. Mayor Barkley through to Councillor Wing. So if the deadline is the 31st, most students likely don't have to pay for schooling until August maybe? Or when do they have to pay for schooling?
Most institutions have backed that date up considerably. So they've already had to pay, but it's more around what happens next as far as the government of Alberta is concerned. So, yeah. We just don't want to wait too long, that's all.
Yeah, okay. We can definitely put in a caveat that says their deadline is the 21st and the decision will be August 15th or something. Does that work? Okay.
Councillor Bates?
Yeah, my input on those dates would be most students that are going on to do anything know they're doing it by the end of their school year, and the only reason we would need to give the slack is to get their grades. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't even move it up to June and then give the deadline for the grades. But try and have the application in even sooner. Because I know lots of students that know they're getting their scholarships really early. So that's just input. And as far as council doing it, I think we could do it. We're organized, we have our meetings. We're kind of sworn to impartiality. And these aren't huge. And we could always change it down the road, but I think we could do it.
I just want to say it's the first time I've agreed with you. Thanks.
Can I change that comment?
So do you need anything else, Director Vickers, like date-wise?
Yeah, so do you want a deadline of, say, June 30th for the application? Maybe July 31st for your grades, because you do want this to be grade-based, correct? Like, we need to know they've officially graduated high school, which could take a little bit of time. And then an August 15th decision date. So at least then everyone knows what to expect, right, for the applicants, right? Okay, I'm good with, I can make those amendments
Sure.
as well, for sure.
Okay, so then maybe we'll just amend the motion to include
As
these,
amended, yeah,
these
you betcha.
additional dates.
Yeah.
Councillor Hystad, did you want to amend that motion, please?
Sure, I'll make that amendment with those dates. Thanks.
Good.
Perfect.
All in favor? Perfect, thank you. Okay, we will move on to 7.1 with Director Jenkins on the Southwest Industrial Park.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Barkley. So we're asking council for a motion today to extend the introductory pricing of the town lands within the Southwest Industrial Park at $160,000 an acre through October 31st, 2022. So the lots have been on the market for about 3 months. The proposed pricing for the sale of the lots reflects the projected costs of servicing the property, applicable offsite levies, and the remediation costs. To date, the town has received moderate interest in the lands, and 4.19 acres of the total 46 acres have been sold. Following October 31st, it is the opinion of administration that we would probably look at a price increase, and that this would be reflective of about $25,000 an acre if we went up to 175 and excluded that offsite levy from the pricing. But again, that would be brought back to council prior to October 31st. Servicing of the land is expected to take place this fall, with purchasers taking possession in the spring. One of the big reasons we want to extend is we've just recently, in the last 2 weeks, the property is listed on a global commercial and industrial real estate website. So LoopNet is the name of that site. And it's just been live for 10 days-ish, so we're just kind of starting to get some traction there, and starting to get some more inquiries. So I think another 3 months would be beneficial for that.
Okay, sounds good. Could I please have someone make the recommended motion?
I'd so move, Mayor Barkley, that council sets the introductory price of land for sale within the Southwest Industrial Park at $160,000 per acre until October 31st, 2022 for spring 2023 title transfer.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, great. And we will move on to 7.2, the Eagles Ice logo with Director Jenkins.
Thank you. So we're looking to present a draft sponsorship agreement for the installation of an in-ice logo by the Innisfail Eagles Hockey Club for a 3-year term. So the club has requested the installation of the club logo at center ice of the blue surface at the Twin Arenas. The town currently installs logos for the Eagles, Innisfail Minor Hockey, and Innisfail Figure Skating within the center ice area outside the center circle at no charge. Paid in-ice advertising is not an option that the town has offered to date, but could represent a future revenue stream. As this option had not been previously requested or offered, staff did contact minor hockey and figure skating to gauge interest and provide a fair opportunity to all parties. So in addition, a monetary cost of $2,000 per year was proposed, just to avoid everybody saying, yeah, sure, we'd like to do that. The other parties were, although interested in the site, they were not in a position that they would be looking to pay for additional advertising space. The proposed rate is quite low based on some general comparisons to other arenas that offer this type of advertising, with the center ice logo often being associated with the sponsorship of an entire ice surface. So for example, for $50,000 a year at the Next Source Center, one of the components of that sponsorship is having the center ice logo. However, staff did feel it was a reasonable amount to compensate additional time for installation and removal and to provide some level of benefit to the town at this time. Administration has started to work on a larger sponsorship package for the Twin Arenas that will expand sponsorship opportunities beyond the existing rink boards in the blue ice surface. As well, we have done the electric ice resurfacer for this upcoming season. So this may include commercial in-ice advertising in the future. So attached is a draft lease agreement that has been reviewed by the Eagles Club. Generally specifies a 3-year term with a $2,000 per year payment payable by August 15th each year. The sponsor will be responsible for the cost and provision of the actual logo that will be placed in the ice. And one of the requests upon review that came back for the club was the inclusion of a provision for a prorated refund in the event that their season is impacted by unforeseen circumstances resulting in arena closure for extended periods of time. So something like COVID restrictions or mechanical failures at the arena.
Okay, thank you, Director Jenkins. Could I please have someone make the recommended motion?
Your Worship, I'll recommend that council approves the sponsorship agreement for the installation of the Eagles Hockey Club logo at the center ice of the Blue Arena ice service for an annual cost of $2,000 for a 3-year term.
Okay, any questions, discussion? No? Okay, all in favor? Okay. All right, we will move into correspondence and information, 8.1. Just have someone make a motion to accept the correspondence as information when you're ready to do that.
I'll make that motion, Mayor Barkley.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bates. All in favor?
I have 2
Oh.
questions.
Okay, see? Okay. Yeah.
So the one question, is anybody able to digest number 1 and give me a 30-second, what does that all mean? Because I tried to read it, but
Yeah, I can,
put you on the spot.
Mayor Barkley to Councillor Bates. So some of the work being conducted with Energy's Futures Lab is looking at means within the system, the grid, on how we can avoid huge investment on transmission lines and the whole grid system, what technologies can be applied currently. And one is demand side management, and that's Alberta's the only geographic location in North America that does not have DSM as part of their system. So as part of the EFL, working with this individual that represents the Alberta Energy Efficiency Alliance, that have put out a letter for the government to consider applying technologies to demand side management as part of the whole spectrum of becoming efficient within our energy system. And that's really what it is. It's just there's different components of DSM, but there's just one piece of what the government policy could be applied to help our communities.
Thank you, appreciate that. And then the other question is the building permit stats. Is the major change in the last year just the houses that we've decided to build, or just on the residential?
Yeah, so I guess at this point, we're sitting at 7 building permits. I believe that only reflects, actually, no, that does reflect all 4 of ours, so there's only 3 in addition to that. Overall, we're sitting at about half of what we did last year at the halfway point. Permit numbers, though, are down, and we're not seeing, if you look at the renovations, both in residential and commercial, you're not seeing the number of permits there. And we're not seeing the typical number of garages and decks and those types of projects. I think just with the cost of materials, people are gonna wait and see if there's a change there. So all in all, looks like we're generally on track to be comparable with last year.
Thank you, and I think there was a bit of an uptick during COVID, people doing stuff.
On the renos, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of the motion? Okay, thank you. And then we'll go into council reports, starting with Councillor Wing today.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I've been on vacation for the last couple of weeks, so enjoyed getting away, but in the middle of it was able to come back to Innisfail to attend a Chamber of Commerce meeting, so the work with the Chamber continues. I'd like everybody to just pencil in August the 13th, Saturday, August the 13th on your calendars. There will be an evening networking event out at the Jungle Farm that Saturday evening, so we hope that all of you can come out and help the Chamber kick off sort of the new year and some of the new work that the Chamber is organizing around currently. So August the 13th is that date. On a personal note, I'm excited to be a part of the new mural that's being painted on the old creamery, and certainly the public art projects that are anticipated out of Burlington that will run in the coming months. Enjoyed the meeting with Fortis this morning. Just a note for administration of the conflict with MPC and council next Tuesday. We're both scheduled at the same time, so I don't know what to do about that. And then just as I've been looking back and thinking back over previous meetings, coming from the meeting that we had with Group 2 earlier in the year, I would like to request that we organize or work with them to organize the tour of municipal recreation facilities that we discussed.
Your microphone's not on.
Sorry, I thought it was on. In any event, if we could discuss getting that tour set up with Group 2, I would really appreciate it. I think we're getting close to that crunch time where we need to start making some decisions, and so those other municipal facilities and perhaps the Dome in Red Deer, as we had discussed as well, in Red Deer County. Thank you.
Councillor Bates?
I was hoping Councillor Wing would do the rest of hers over. So I attended the Mountain View Water Commission meeting on July 13th. Predominantly kind of finished the business plan, and we can still expect to see member agreements later this fall. And they are still prepared to engage TC Energy, whatever transpires with the potential Crossfield hydrogen project. Not a lot of activity, I don't think, at this particular time. And they have a fun golf tournament that I don't think there's any entry or anything, and a couple of staff and a couple of council could avail themselves of that opportunity. August 25th in Bowden, it's just 9 holes and kind of an interaction with others. So I think if everybody would just kind of keep that in mind, maybe let me know if I could hear through CIO Becker, perhaps if there's a couple from staff, and just approach me directly if you're interested from council. And Councillor Harrison probably would consider it as a backup. I attended the My Day with the Cup meeting, MPC. I did go into Red Deer last week with the mayor and Councillor Harrison and attended that Fortis Westerner type reception, and it was a very interesting opportunity for them to display their company and a lot of the things they do. It was the first time I sat in an electric car. I briefly stopped in at the Soapbox Derby and attended the Fortis meeting this morning. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hystad?
Thanks, Mayor Barkley. It seems like we've been, or I wasn't here for a couple weeks, so helped out with Camp Day. I think Tim Hortons, it was a little while back. We had Fortis today. The mural project that Janice had mentioned, I came out and helped out this morning with her, and it's just nice to be back. Thanks.
Thank you. And Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Yeah, I attended the Dixon Dam tour here last week, and for anybody that hasn't taken that tour, I would really recommend that, that they get on it. It's very, very informative and what they're doing out there. And they will be doing some work over the fall here. They're going to expand their spillways so that they can, in big rain events, be able to release more than, about double of what they can release right now. So you'll probably see some work going on out there. I attended what I could on the weekend, some of the events. I tried to get around to most of them. I found the Fortis meeting this afternoon, or I guess it was this morning, this afternoon, very informative. It answered a lot of questions for me that I'd brought to the table there, and they answered them in their presentation. So it's going to be interesting discussions going forth, that's for sure. I think that's about it, Mayor Barkley.
Great, thank you. So just a couple things before I get into activities that I've been doing. So next Monday, of course, is a holiday, so council will be on Tuesday, but also August 9th, because we have a big event on August the 8th. I will make a motion that we move our council meeting to August the 9th, the Tuesday, at 3 p.m. So I'll just, everybody okay with that? All in favor? Okay. And then Market on Main, Kara, I know we talked about going again in August, but we won't be able to go to Market on Main until the 16th because our Tuesdays are going to be with council. Okay, if you can arrange that, thank you. Okay. And then, so activities last week, we had a South Red Deer Regional Wastewater Commission strat planning session here in Innisfail. Our next commission meeting is actually August 19th, which is also here in Innisfail. Discussed a lot of things. Thing that came up, of course, with all the recent rains was the rain events and the impact to Olds. They had 3 flood events. I understand through discussions with CEO Becker, Director Kennedy, that there was no risk here. The Bowden Pond did its job and there was no risk to Bowden either. Just a fun fact that the regional wastewater line that we're on is the longest line in Canada, and they think potentially North America. So that was kind of interesting to find out. Yeah, so few things. I think, you know, discussion, to be honest with you, came up a little bit about the surge pond here and whether it's even necessary and what's the most urgent thing for the Wastewater Commission. So we'll kind of see where that goes going forward. And a question that the CEO posed to us, which was a great question: should the Wastewater Commission be responsible for infiltration issues in communities? So are we building surge ponds because of infiltration? And should that, you know, are we building surge ponds because of issues in the system itself? So I thought that was kind of an interesting question to pose, and I know it'll be discussed further going forward within our commission. But it was a good meeting, and I think some really good things were discussed, and looking forward to some further dialogue on that. Of course, was also just want to say thank you to the Lions Club on the weekend for the Soapbox Derby. It was well attended. Lots of kids out there, and another fun day. Also attended briefly one of the baseball games on the weekend on Sunday, the final game that was being played, and lots of people out in the community this weekend, so that is good to see. And then, of course, Fortis Today, which was an excellent meeting as well. So that is, Councillor Bates, your red light is on.
Yeah, I turned it on. Just a comment on the wastewater. I can remember, oh gosh, a long time ago at one of the AUMA meetings, meeting with the province and discussing backup. And although it may help with rain events, I think the surge ponds are necessary in case of breakdown. And all it would take is the wrong pump or even a break in the line. Then you'd still be scrambling and trying to figure out what you're doing. But I think the surge ponds shouldn't be ignored just because we think it might be helping with rain events. I think they're needed. Thank you.
Yep, no, it's good feedback, and certainly the commission will discuss further on that subject matter. So we will go, is there anybody online, Kara, that would like to, nobody? Nobody listening to us today? Okay, and then we'll go into upcoming events, which is about the same as the open mic session.
Yeah, just that MPC is on August the 2nd at 3 as well.
I'll just have someone make a motion to accept this as information.
I'll make that motion, Mayor Barkley.
Thank you, Councillor Wing. All in favor? And then we'll have a motion to go in camera, please.
Motion to go in camera.
Thank you, Councillor Hystad. All in favor? Okay, and we'll take a 5-minute break.